Koopa the Quick has a secret that may shatter his entire racing career as he knows it. When you first meet him, he challenges you to a race. This competition is all in good fun, where if you cheat by using a cannon, he'll rightfully call you out on it, if you lose, he'll be a sore winner, and if you win, then he'll give you a power star, which is a little strange, but let's hold off on that for a moment, because more importantly right now, there's a somewhat obvious issue with this guy: his size. He's huge. Koopa Troopas are not traditionally this big. They tend to be somewhat close to Mario's height and a little taller than Bob-omb's, but this guy clearly towers over everybody, which makes you wonder, how is it possible that there's a Koopa Troopa this large? He answers that question when you see him again in Tiny Huge Island, stating that this is my home course, which would completely explain his abnormal size in Bob-omb Battlefield, cause here enemies like Goombas and Piranha Plants are tiny on the tiny form of the island and huge on the huge form of the island. So Koopa the Quick's just a Koopa Troopa from the huge variation of Tiny Huge Island. Case closed, right? No, because although he claims this, some things just don't add up. While it is true that some enemies in this level have tiny and huge variations, not all do. Take this Lakitu for example. We're currently on the huge form of this island, and yet its size is completely unchanged. How about this Fly Guy? If we're on the huge form of this island, then he should be huge too, right? But he's not. This inconsistency doesn't just stop at these two enemies, because there's one more foe in this level that it applies to. This Koopa Troopa, whose normal size is at odds with Koopa the Quick's large stature. Every member of a species on this island is the same size as other members of its species, except for these two Koopas here. Why is that? To find our answer, let's go back to Bob-omb Battlefield, where if you head over to this area, you can find a Koopa Troopa. No big deal, right? Except for the fact that this Koopa Troopa only shows up after you've beaten Koopa the Quick, implying that after his defeat, that for some reason, he changed to the normal size of a Koopa Troopa. A version of this occurrence also happens with the King Bob-omb, where before his defeat there are 2 cannonballs in this pit, and after his defeat there are 3, so this Koopa the Quick situation isn't entirely unprecedented. But that doesn't explain what actually happened here. Why post-defeat is he now the size of a regular Koopa Troopa? And why, when you see him again in Tiny Huge Island, is he back to his huge size? To figure this out, we've got to ask ourselves the question, what happened to Koopa the Quick when he was defeated? And the answer? He gave up his power star, which reverted him back to his true form of a regular Koopa Troopa. Consider the fact that King Bob-omb also gave up a power star before supposedly turning into this cannonball, implying that the power stars may be capable of altering one's body in different ways. How does Koopa the Quick achieve his large size again when we see him at Tiny Huge Island? Because he got a hold of another power star. He wasn't born a large Koopa, he's a regular one just like his pal down here, except he has a power star on his side which increases his size so that he can race against you with ease. Some may argue that if this is true, then that would mean every other huge enemy in this level would also have to have a power star, but this doesn't have to be the case at all. Does Tiny Huge Island affect the sizes of all enemies? No. Does it affect the sizes of some enemies? Yes. Does it affect the sizes of Koopa Troopas? No, as seen by this normal Koopa Troopa here. So then, how does Koopa the Quick achieve his size? Because he has a power star that when lost, returns his size to that of a normal Koopa Troopa, and when gained, makes him larger. Now I already hear the counter argument. What about when you enter a warp pipe and go back to Koopa the Quick's spot? There's a Koopa Troopa in his exact position. If his size has nothing to do with the island, then why is he now small? Here's the thing, this Koopa Troopa is not Koopa the Quick, for many reasons. 1. If you kill this Koopa Troopa and switch to the huge form of the island, Koopa the Quick will still be present, alive, and well. 2. You can encounter this Koopa Troopa before Koopa the Quicks even arrived to Tiny Huge Island, as shown here where we see this little guy in the tiny form of the island and no Koopa the Quick in the huge form of the island. And 3, the most compelling evidence of all comes from Mario 64's character section of the Japanese Nintendo website. Here, it tells you what each enemy is called, including their tiny and huge variations found in Tiny Huge Island. There's Goomba, Small Goomba, and Big Goomba, Piranha Plant, Small Piranha Plant, and Big Piranha Plant. Now, if despite everything you've heard up until this point, you still think I'm wrong about Koopa the Quick's size being a result of his power star and that he's actually just a big Koopa Troopa from Tiny Huge Island, then I think it's fair to say that this website should list 3 variations for a Koopa Troopa, small, normal, and big, like it has for the Goomba and Piranha Plant, right? But it doesn't. It lists small Koopa Troopa with an image of the guy in Koopa the Quick's spot, and it lists the normal Koopa Troopa with an image of, you guessed it, Koopa the Quick. Why doesn't it list him as Big Koopa Troopa, similar to the Big Goomba and Piranha Plants? Because he isn't one. He's a normal Koopa who really loves to run and is excited by competition, which is likely what pushed him to nab a power star to increase his chances of beating his opponents. Not only that, but if his sign is anything to go by, he does some traditional training too. And while I can't say that purchasing some fast sneakers is exactly the best approach for what he's trying to do, I respect him overall for pushing his limits to the brink and becoming the best he can be. As for his racing career, I'm not sure how happy everyone's going to be after finding out he uses power stars to up his game, but only time will tell what will come of that. Thanks for watching, consider becoming a member of this channel, and I'll see you tomorrow for more of the June Zoom. Take care.